Hey guys, back with some more Bazaar, and today we'll be covering a lot of the changes for Season 5. Crazy that a new character Stelle is being released, and it probably isn't even the biggest news regarding the release of the new season. The biggest news is the monetization changes, the release on Steam, and the shift to premium. There's a lot of big changes coming in this new season. Just a reminder before we get into it to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the new monetization, the Steam release, how you think it's gone so far. And yeah, enjoy. So they're making a number of foundational changes. So the most prominent change being that they're shifting from free to play to a premium experience. So basically, it means that they can get rid of they're getting rid of a lot of things like the subscriptions, and a lot of the things that are required to monetize a free to play game. And I think it's an interesting idea, right? Because I think it makes the game slightly less accessible for new players, but they have also combated that by the base game including Vanessa, Pygmalion, and Dooley. So now when you buy the base game for $45 US, you don't just get the game and Vanessa, you get Vanessa, Pig, and Dooley. And the other change is that future heroes will not be sold for gems and will be available for $20. I personally, as like a Bazaar loyalist, someone who's played the game constantly, it's been my only game, this is obviously good for me, right? Because I'm not paying a monthly fee to, support the game. And instead, what I'm doing is I'm just buying a one-off hero, instead of a long-running fee, essentially. So it's better for me. So, shifting back from this, let's go work our way from the top down. So we've talked about the shift to premium, away from free-to-play. Steam. So obviously, this links to a wider audience, which I think is absolutely amazing, right? Especially as a content creator, it means it's going to be accessible to more people. More people want to watch content, consume Bazaar content, and it just means, obviously, for the developers of the game Tempo, it's a little bit trickier because Steam do take a cut of the money that they make. However, I think that it is a net positive. I like the idea of making it more accessible. You don't have to get an exclusive launcher just for the game. I think this is good. So the game releases on August 13th. So for those who play the game, if you have the game already through the Tempo launcher, you can't get it for free on Steam yet. I don't think they have any plans so far to implement that, linking accounts from the launcher to Steam. There's not really any incentive for them to do that. They'd prefer to keep people on their exclusive launcher. The Steam install is it's secondary to them. They don't want people to install the game through Steam over their exclusive launcher, right? Because, that way, if you install the game through their exclusive launcher, Tempo gets all the money rather than Steam taking a cut. But that's huge news, right? The Bazaar releasing on Steam. Let's just take a look at the page for it right now. So we can see here planned release. This is Australian time, so it'll be the 13th for everyone else. But yeah, I mean I personally am excited for this change. I won't get another account, but this does seem good to me. I think it's a move in the right direction. Basically, I think the release on Steam is a good idea. Obviously, it just creates more work for the developers, but it does mean that they can, get help from the people at Steam with whatever issues that they have. I know Steam devs are very good. But yeah, I'm excited for this direction. So, now we've talked about Steam. Let's look at the shift to premium a little bit more. So, good news is all players who've created an account as of the 8th of the 8th, so basically as at the time of the announcement, will be given the heroes Pig, Dooley, Mac. I already have those heroes, so it doesn't mean anything for me, but for those who don't have those characters unlocked and are, just Vanessa players, then I guess that is great, right? So, base game, we talked about this, Vanessa, Pig, and Dooley, and it's sold as a set basically, where you get all of it and the game for $45. Future heroes will not be sold for gems and will be available for 20. I think this is a better change overall when we look at it versus a subscription service to get, skins rather than actual content in the game. I like this better. A one-off purchase versus a long-standing subscription is better in my eyes. So, rank mode changes. So, no more rank tickets, and you can play it as much as you like. So there's no 100 gem, pay to get into a ranked game. Everything else about ranked is the same. There are no more changes in that regard, but essentially there's no cost to enter ranked now, which I think is an amazing change. It just makes the game so much more accessible for new players. New players sometimes struggle to get into ranked. You get your one free ticket a day and your ranked tickets from the prize pass, but then past that, it is relatively easy to earn a surplus of gems and, use those gems to play ranked and get more chests, and that cycle continues. But this just makes it significantly easier, especially for players that aren't necessarily getting that surplus of gems. They aren't necessarily getting that, return on investment. I think this is an amazing change. Normal mode changes. So you get chests just like ranked in normal. So basically the only difference is now that in ranked you get a rank, kinda. And they've made some changes to make it better for new players. So the matchmaking basically makes it progressively more difficult over time. So basically, a player's first couple of normal games will be easier, and then essentially they'll get, into the regular pool essentially after a little while. And they're basically just saying it feels like an easier place to learn the game. I think this is great. Makes sense to me. Future hero expansions. No more hero expansions from the prize pass. I think, given from what we've seen so far, this makes sense. Especially if you're paying to unlock a hero, you should just have all of that content automatically, right? You don't want to have to grind to get more content, essentially. So essentially, if you have the hero unlocked, you have this access to the same pool of items as everyone else who has that hero unlocked. They're going to continue doing expansions for each hero, and the items will arrive for the same time for all players. I think this is an amazing change as well. So far, I think everything is a step in the right direction. I think this is really, really positive so far. So, subscription chest store changes. So basically the end runs, now everyone gets 246 instead of 1, 2, 3 and 246 with the subscription. So now essentially everyone has that subscription quotes, chest reward, but there's no more, subscriptions anymore. They're not, selling or renewing any subscriptions, but for myself, I did get billed for my subscription, and they will continue until they expire, basically. So I will still get double XP and up to 12 chests a run, basically, which I think is a good change. I think the option should be there to refund it as well, for people who don't, want that necessarily. For people who are doing it for the cosmetic and some of the other features, I think that option should maybe be there. But I think this is a decent solution as well. I don't think it's bad. So, gems will not provide any gameplay advantages. Makes sense, right? For experienced players who have upwards of 100,000 gems sometimes, that makes sense. There's a big disparity, basically, and I talked about it earlier with, new players not being able to enter ranked as much due to a gem shortage versus ranked players being able to make that investment and play constantly. Prize pass is now completely free and will no longer offer tier skips. I like this as well. Kind of removes the pay to win element. And seasonal chests are replaced with a chest that has the potential to provide almost all available cosmetics, including all previous sports and albums of previous seasons. This is maybe the most overlooked, thing of the new season. I think this is an absolutely insane change. I think that it's good. While trading isn't in the game, I think this is a good change. It allows for everyone to get all of the skins rather than new players not being able to get some of the older things until they implement trading. I think this is interesting. There's negatives and positives, basically, right? Like, there's less chance to get new things, but there is, more of an opportunity to get some of the things that you missed maybe in previous seasons. Like, I don't have any of the legendary hero skins from the closed beta, so it'll be nice to be able to have an opportunity to get that. So they no longer have plans to develop a player-to-player marketplace. So with this shift, they'll soon be removing the ability for accounts to have duplicate cosmetics, providing gems in place based on the tier. At that time, all duplicates will be converted to gems. Yeah, I've got a ton of duplicates, so this will be interesting. I guess, I'm not sure. With no play-to-play marketplace on the horizon, there'll also be sunsetting mint numbers. So basically, there's no more, NFT stuff. You don't get a funny number. Yeah. I think this is a positive change overall. I liked the trade thing, seemed intriguing to me, but I think it did enable the sort of like hoarding, like sort of thing when we talk about experienced players having all of the money, all of the gems, all of the skins, and then they get to, capitalize on that even more, basically. I do like this, though. So the fact that you get gems instead of duplicates, I think this makes sense. I'm not sure what this does for your chances to get things, whether you just unlock everything super quickly, super easily. Like, if duplicates aren't able to be unlocked, do you just get gems instead when you unlock it in a chest? Or I would assume that's how it is, but my other, side thought was that you just get things in chests that aren't duplicates, right? Which for me would mean that in like my first 10 chests, I'd probably have like 3 legendaries, because like, you have all of the common stuff unlocked. I would assume that when you open a chest and you get a duplicate of an item you already have, it replaces it with gems, and that's how it works. There's still the percentage chances you still have to grind. That to me makes some more sense. And then maybe, obviously, massive news is the release of Stelle, which I'll be covering more in another video. This is more exclusively for the actual game-based changes rather than the release of the new hero Stelle. So, launching a new hero Stelle, the Ingenious Engineer. I am so excited for this hero. She looks amazing. I'm very, very excited. So new encounters, new enemies, and over 100 new items. And they've introduced a new mechanic, flight. So items that are flying gain a reduction from slow and freeze effects by 50%. So this is a binary effect. You're either flying or you're not. And when you're in flight, those items receive half slow and half freeze. So let's say an item isn't flying, it receives freeze and slow, and then it starts flying. It doesn't cut that in half, but all the slow and freeze it receives after that gets cut in half, basically. And that's all the changes. We're going to be talking about more about Stelle in another video when more things get released, as well as some of the other items and hero expansions, etc., etc. The new encounters and things like that, covering the trailer as well. But yeah, that's all of the big monetization, premium Steam changes. A lot of changes this season. Huge overhauls, and I'm super excited. Let me know your thoughts down below. Comment, drop a like, and subscribe as well if you guys enjoyed and you want to see more content like this. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.